welcome back to the Fortitude Fix. I hope you're well. Today I want to talk to you all about how to save money. I'm going to share with you my tips and tricks for saving money and remaining on budget for your wedding. So although the wedding is on my mind right now, these tips and hacks can be used across the board, not just for wedding saving, but for any saving. So I have a list of a few things that I've learned thus far, and I'm super excited to share them with you. So the first tip I have for saving money for your wedding is to first create a budget. Not just create one, but stick to it. A lot of folks go into planning not knowing how much things really cost. And when you add the word wedding to anything, wedding photographer, wedding cake, wedding anything, it's automatically more expensive. So when you are beginning to plan and wanting to save money, start with your budget. Figure out what your budget is, figure out what it is you want to spend and where you want to save. So not only setting a budget, but sticking to the budget and creating a buffer. Sometimes we forget that things have taxes or fees associated with them. So having a little bit of a buffer there for those unexpected costs, especially towards the end of your planning, is really important. Another tip I have is to kind of like spend here, save there. There might be some things that you and your partner are really excited about that you want to do, really like no contest. So figure out what those things are and figure out the things that you don't really care too much about. Maybe those things that you have to do, but you're just like, man, I'll do it, but it's not a priority. An example of this, my fiance really wanted to have an open bar. I understand some people have their own thoughts and feelings about that, but that was something that he wanted and it seemed like something we could do. With that said, there are other things that we are not spending a lot of money on, and we'll get to that in a moment. Think about your venue choice, create options for yourself, and then think about it again. My partner and I live in California. It is extremely expensive here. The venue is probably one of the most expensive things, depending, but usually one of the larger ticket items. So thinking about your location as well as the venue within that location is super important. Some people will choose to get married in a church, and so figuring out which church, if anyone knows anyone who will be willing to let you use their church or put you in contact with someone and what that cost is. Some people might know someone with an amazing home and they may let you use their backyard depending on the size of your wedding. Also look into Airbnbs. Some people will actually they will rent out their mansion for a specific amount of days, and it's a lot cheaper than some of the venues, especially here in California. Also think about some all-inclusive options for your venue. So like a banquet center, and the reception maybe is in the same place. They have options for you to choose from for food. So looking at all-inclusive options is another way to save money. Next two things I have are kind of related, but the first one has to do with credit cards. I am not at all encouraging you to get credit cards just to pay for your wedding. I am not encouraging you to put your entire wedding on a credit card or multiple credit cards. That is not what I am saying. However, there are some people who use credit in order to build and establish their credit to show that they have good credit history and positive usage of that credit card and paying that credit card off again. If someone has a credit card or is thinking about getting a credit card, look for the credit cards with specific perks. Look for the credit cards that give you cashback options or travel points, or mileage. Also become like a rewards member with maybe, I don't know, if you travel for work, becoming a rewards member for a particular hotel chain. The app that I was recommended to use is called Digit. So my partner recommended this app to me and I was a bit hesitant. I didn't understand how it worked. So I did my own research and it is amazing. You download the app on your cellular device and you do connect your bank account to the app. So I know some people, again, have feelings about that, but I did thorough research and I haven't had any issues thus far. what happens is once you input your information, it uses an algorithm to see how much you have in your account and how much you spend, and it uses that kind of information to save for you. So it pulls out bits and pieces and puts it into a separate account for you. It's really hard for some people to save when they get the money in their account and then they have to take that money and then put it in a separate savings account. That might be really hard for someone to do. There's always going to be a thought or an excuse for us to put the money elsewhere or spend it, or oh, I'll do it later. But this app actually saves for you. So it kind of reduces that anxiety of, you know, having to take something away and put it into a different account. I've been using this app for a couple of months and I have saved nearly $3,000 without doing anything. You can pause it or stop at any time. I think there's like a fee for the app. I think it's like $1.99 or something per month to use the app, and it basically tracks the savings for you and lets you know how much you have saved when you hit a certain benchmark, and you're able to pull that money back out and withdraw whenever you want. So it's an amazing app, and to be honest, I don't feel it. And if I do start to feel it, I pause the app. So I can tell the app, hey, pause for 15 days, and I know that I'm able to then use the money that I have in my account, and after 15 days, maybe once after, you know, I get paid again, then they can again start taking out a few dollars here, a few dollars there, and it has really, really built up. It's an app that I recommend, so check into it. Another tip I have has to do with your wedding dress. So if you are getting married and you are wearing a wedding dress, look at sample sales. So research those boutiques or stores who have sample sales, go to sample sales, explore, try on everything, and start to get a feel for what you like and what you don't like. Also, just look for regular sales. There are a lot of sales that come up, you know, for particular holiday weekends, or just because it's that time of the month for them to have another sale. Just keep your eye out for those sales and also for sample sales. Drive around. Yelp different stores, different boutiques. Some you can just see maybe from the street, you're driving on, oh, they have wedding dresses in there, let's go check it out. Another option is to buy a pre-owned gown or to rent your wedding gown. There are some people who are very specific and they want to have a brand new dress. They want the dress to be custom made. They don't want it off the rack. There are also some of those brides who are like, hey, this is a one-time thing. I'm never gonna wear this dress again. I want something that I like, that I feel beautiful in, but I don't want to spend an arm and a leg. So that's another option. Another one is really hard. It's hard for me, so I know that this could be the case for others. I have an issue asking for help sometimes. A lot of the times I'm very driven, I can do this, this is my thing, I'm on it, I got it. And then sometimes I am overwhelmed and it's hard for me to ask for help. If someone asks you what you need, if someone volunteers and says, hey, let me help, let them help. I am learning this right now. I am going through it right now with kind of delegating and releasing some of those things that I don't necessarily have to do. Someone else might be skilled in a particular area. They might have an amazing gift of a particular talent, whether it's making something or they have other resources that I don't know about. So letting those people who want to help actually help you will help you save money. The date is super important. Keep in mind the date of your event. Try to keep your wedding away from certain types of holidays or events. For example, I probably wouldn't have my wedding on a Super Bowl weekend. I probably wouldn't have my wedding on Mother's Day weekend or Father's Day weekend or something like that. So keeping the date in mind is very important. Not just the number, but also the day of the week. When you start to search for venues, they will ask you, what is your date? You will notice a huge difference between the dates that fall on a Saturday versus the rate for a date that falls on a Friday or a Sunday. Keep in mind that Saturday is the most popular day to get married and it's going to be the most expensive. So if we're looking to save money and we don't really mind having a Friday or a Sunday wedding, checking out those dates is going to drop the price significantly. Another way to save money, not have an engagement party. That might freak some people out, but it is a party that you have to spend money on, especially if you and your partner are the ones who are financing a lot of these parties in your wedding day. So again, if that's something that we don't want or don't need or don't want to pay for, it doesn't have to happen. My fiance and I did not have an engagement party. It was kind of by accident. It wasn't something that we planned. I was still in graduate school at the time, and I was also really stressed out because it was becoming the end of the semester and also the end of the program for me. He does a lot of traveling, and so the times didn't align. So we didn't have an engagement party, and that's okay. We're gonna have a couple more parties. Lots and lots of DIY. If you are a creative person, or even if you're not but you're super organized and can follow a tutorial or follow a recipe, you can do some DIYs. There are DIYs that are harder than others, and some are super simple. But I think if you do your research and you are comfortable with some of the things that you want to do, it can add a lot of personality to your wedding. If you are choosing to do some DIY stuff, Michael's is an amazing place. Wait for the coupons. I have the Michael's app on my phone just for the coupons. They often have a 40% off coupon that you'll see very, very frequently, but they have 50% off coupons that come and go and come and go. So wait for those coupons and then have fun. Maybe you can do your DIY invitations. You can DIY your save the dates. We did. Or you can also DIY your programs or the place cards or anything that you want to have at your wedding that you feel like you can do. DIY flowers. Lots of things that you can do yourself to save money. Some people want to get married right now. They want to get married this year. They want to get married in a very particular time of the year, no matter when it is that you got engaged. Timing is everything. So if you have the ability, wait to get married. One of the reasons I say that as a tip is because my fiance and I have now been engaged for a year. There were many things that attributed to a long engagement, but one of the things, especially as we talk about saving money, is the fact that we were able to save a lot of money. We were able to give ourselves enough time to where we are not stressing out, to where we are not putting things on credit cards, to the point where we just don't know what to do. We gave ourselves a lot of time to breathe, and that is one of the greatest gifts. Print and save all of your invoices. If you are using different vendors, my advice would be to maybe make a folder or a wedding binder to where you can keep all of your important documents in one place. I actually have a video outlining my wedding binder, so I'll link it over here in the iCards for you if you want to see how I broke down my wedding binder. But keep and save and print all of the invoices and keep track every time that you make a payment. There have been times where I've called to make a payment and they told me that what they had on file was separate than what I had on file. So I was able to give them the receipt that I had of when we paid, and we were able to kind of fix it. So always keeping a trail for your own references is very, very important. This also goes for when you are ordering things, like multiple things. So not just for your photographer or your flowers, but if you were to order something online and it has multiple items inside of that order, making sure that you keep that invoice and everything is itemized on that invoice that you ordered. So they might forget something or neglect to put something in the box, and you know that you paid for it because you have that invoice and it's missing. It holds everyone accountable. And the last thing that I want to share with you, my last tip, is to stay positive, be nice, and have a great attitude. Those things will take you far, especially when you're saving. People who feel like they can connect to you, people who are excited to have your business, they are going to treat you a lot nicer. Now, I know this because it's happened. There were times when I would speak to someone and maybe I was stressed or in the middle of something and I didn't give them my full attention, but then a different time when I was complimenting them, sharing with them other aspects of the wedding planning process, having fun with them. When I asked for something, they were able to kind of just throw it in and not necessarily charge me for it. So I'm really excited about that. The attitude definitely plays a role. Alright, so that brings us to the end of this video. I really hope you had a good time. I hope that these tips and tricks and hacks for wedding saving can be super helpful for you. And even if you're not getting married, even if you are already married, some of these tips can be used universally to save money. So making sure that we are helping each other out is what we are all about here at the Fortitude Fix. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all have a great day, night, evening, weekend, whenever you are watching this video. If you are planning a wedding, I want to say congratulations. I'm so happy for you, and I hope that you have a wonderful journey down the aisle. If you're not planning a wedding, I'm so happy for you. You're amazing, and thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you all here very soon in my next video. And as always, remember to fill your cup. Bye.